How many times in life do we find ourselves waiting? Waiting for answers, waiting for solutions, or simply waiting for our lives to change? Sometimes, this wait seems endless, and discouragement starts to take hold. But today, I want to remind you of something important. God has a plan, and that plan will unfold in His perfect timing. In this video, we are going to deeply explore what it means to wait on God, how patience and faith can transform us, and how blessings will come at just the right moment. So stay with us, because this message could change the way you see your life. First, let's take a moment to deeply reflect on what it really means to trust in God's timing. We live in a fast-paced society where everything is measured by calendars, deadlines, and goals we constantly impose on ourselves. From a young age, we learn to organize our lives around schedules and well-structured plans. We often want things to happen right away, following the plans we've carefully laid out. When things don't go as expected, it's easy to feel frustrated, like we're failing or that something is wrong. But the Bible reminds us repeatedly that God's timing is not the same as ours. He knows when and how things should unfold, and His timing is always perfect, even when we can't see it. In Isaiah 55 verses 8-9, we're reminded that God's thoughts and ways are higher than ours. His perspective is beyond what we can understand, and He is constantly working in ways we may not see. Even when we feel stuck or unsure, God is orchestrating a greater plan for our lives, one that we may not comprehend at the moment but can trust is for our good. Imagine looking at a beautiful painting through a small window. You'd only see part of it, and the rest might seem confusing or incomplete. This is how we often see our lives, just glimpses of a larger picture that doesn't always make sense to us. But God, the artist of our lives, sees the whole masterpiece. He understands how every detail fits into the larger plan He has for us. In our waiting, it's not just the external circumstances God is preparing, but also our hearts and character. He's shaping us, growing our faith, and getting us ready for the blessings He has in store. Sometimes the delay isn't about the circumstances, it's about our readiness to receive what He's preparing for us. Trusting in God's timing means surrendering control and having faith that the process, though difficult, will lead to something far greater than we could have imagined. While we may not always understand the why or when, we can be assured that God's plan is perfect, and the outcome will always be worth the wait. The Bible is full of examples of people who had to wait on God's timing. Think of Abraham. God promised him he would be the father of a great nation, but a long time passed before he saw that promise fulfilled. Abraham and his wife Sarah were elderly, and Sarah couldn't have children. Despite this, Abraham didn't lose faith. And after many years, Sarah gave birth to Isaac, the promised son. This story teaches us that even when everything seems impossible, God's plan is still in motion. Another example is Moses. Moses was called by God the Holy Father to free the Israelites from slavery in Egypt, but before he could fulfill that mission, he spent 40 years in the desert. Imagine how Moses must have felt: confusion, perhaps even hopelessness. But God was preparing Moses for His great purpose. His time in the desert wasn't wasted, but an essential preparation. David also waited. Although he was anointed as king when he was young, he didn't assume the throne until many years later. His patience and trust in God's timing made him a wise and strong leader. Now, how do we apply this trust in God's timing to our daily lives? We all face situations where it seems like nothing is moving forward. Maybe you're waiting for a job opportunity, a meaningful relationship, or a solution to a family problem. In those moments, it can be difficult to keep the faith. However, patience is not passivity. It's active. It's keeping hope alive and continuing to work on ourselves while we wait. Patience is like a seed we plant in fertile soil. Even though we don't see the growth immediately, we know that under the surface, something incredible is happening. In the same way, God is working in our lives, even when we don't notice it. Maybe He's developing our skills or preparing the right environment for when the blessing comes. As Romans 12 verse 12 tells us, be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. It's not just about waiting, but doing so with faith and a positive attitude. Here are some practical tips that can help you maintain your faith while you wait. Keep a positive perspective. Every challenge we face daily is an opportunity for personal, emotional, and spiritual growth. Even when things don't go as we want, remember that God is always in control. Pray and meditate daily. Prayer is our direct connection to God. Through prayer, we find infinite peace and renew all our hopes. Meditating on God's Word can also give us strength and comfort in times of uncertainty. Be grateful for the small blessings. We're often so focused on the blessing we're waiting for that we overlook the small daily blessings we receive. These small manifestations of God's love remind us that He is always present. Surround yourself with a faith community. Sharing our struggles and hopes with other believers strengthens us. Find people who support you and encourage you to keep trusting in God's plan, and do the same for them. At the end of the day, it all comes down to this: God has a plan for you, and that plan will come to pass at the right time. Don't be discouraged if you don't see immediate results. Remember that God is never late. He arrives exactly at the perfect moment. So trust, be patient, and keep the faith. God will bless you. Just be patient and wait on Him. Because everything, absolutely everything, happens in His time. I pray that what you've heard today penetrates your heart like a divine ray of light. May God bless you abundantly. If this video has been helpful and enlightening to your life, I invite you to like it and subscribe to the channel to receive a direct blessing from heaven.